Welcome to the Human Element in AI. This is the show that explores the fascinating and sometimes challenging intersection of artificial intelligence and the world of work. We dive into how AI is reshaping our jobs, the critical importance of change management, and how we can all thrive amidst this digital transformation. Join us as we explore concepts like job crafting, the ethics of automation, and how personalized learning can empower us in the age of AI. Get ready to understand the shifts, adapt your skills, and level up your professional journey. Let's turn data into dollars. What is up, everyone? In this video, I'm gonna do a little bit of a dive into what AI has to think about AI. So we'll dig in and we'll see what it says. Already got started, and I thought it was interesting enough that maybe I'll share, just because this is where the brain of the AI is at. I wanted to, and you'll hear me say this time and again, is it is best to go into any AI research with a plan. So I went into this research with a plan. I wanted to identify how we will be able to use AI to refine and craft job design. Now, this stems from the idea that AI is taking all of our jobs. Okay, that's a headline. That's been a headline for a hot minute. I was thinking, okay, well, if AI is supposed to be so tremendous, how about we have it back up and help us with this part? Like, AI is doing all the jobs that other people used to do, so I wanted to know what happens to those jobs. And I think a lot of people with those jobs want to know. And the prevailing thought seems to be this: well, we'll create jobs that are critical thinking. AI will take the menial jobs, and then we will have these people just transfer over to creative or critical thinking jobs. However, not everybody wants to be a critical thinker, and not everybody wants to be creative. And the purpose of this study wasn't to dig into that thought process. It was a little bit of a psychology dive here, and we'll get into it because I do want to kind of explore further. I just got jammed up. Jim and I didn't seem to want to go in the same direction I wanted to go. So I had this plan. I wanted to know, how can AI craft or design jobs in a way that becomes more fulfilling. And I figured, if AI can design jobs in a way that becomes more fulfilling than old roles, what AI is good at, machine learning aims to do. What does machine learning aim to do? Machine learning is given an input and the desired output. And typically it'll be given an initial calculation. From this initial calculation, it will come up with the desired output because the person put in the input and the calculation, and the human knows how to get to the output. Now, the machine learning is it does this over and over and over until it finds a better method of achieving the desired output, whether it be less calculations. But what the machine needs is the input, and it's given the desired output. And this is the same thing as a human construct or behavior or psychology of desired behavior. Or in leadership, a lot of times is what gets rewarded gets repeated. And that drives desired behavior. Dog training methods follow often. I mean, there's a school of thought. I'm talking about dogs here. There's a school of thought reward behavior to achieve the desired behavior. Treats for good behavior rather than discipline for bad behavior. So now we have a desired output or desired behavior of the machine. This is what we want the roles to be. And we have a simple calculation. That's where I started to get into it. So started to chat with GPT, and this was not GPT, but Gemini. And this was a conversation. It was one of the live to have a chat with it. Today was the first time, I chat with it a lot. Today was the first time that it had a selection of voices. It was always the same voice until today. I was given an option of voices. So that evolution has, I guess, occurred. GPT has had it. I don't like any of the voices on any of them. Now, I wanted to know what is it going to take to get job design. And it was probably my first error to mention both parts in the first one, because then all it wanted to do was focus on the artificial technology element of it. And I wanted to talk about artificial technology, and I wanted to compare it with job design or job crafting. Then it went on, studies show, and just talking about, just emphasis on the artificial intelligence. And I even said I want to come up with a curriculum of change management or digital integration or digital transformation, whatever it may be, for organizations to adapt to AI. And what do we do about improving job design rather than eliminating job design? Now, this model isn't necessarily trained on any particular, just this large knowledge base, and it's been my presumption from the beginning is that Google has the most information out of all of them. I feel like it should be the best, most well versed, especially when considering a total assessment of available information. I feel like Google's got all the information, but doesn't seem to be the case. It's not even current sometimes. Now it talks about, okay, what is it's going to happen, which is one thing, but developing new skills. Then focus on developing new skills. That's not the point. So I wanted to go back to the idea, and again, this is what I just started a conversation with the Gemini rather than construct a well-articulated context for it. But I thought it was interesting that it wanted to go back and take a step back from just, okay. And what I'm thinking is, like, my theory is and I suggest you try it, is ask whatever model, whatever platform, give me a 10 choice, multiple choice questionnaire to help me uncover my leadership skills or uncover my best practices, the way I like to work, or work traits, or whatever it may be. And then it'll draw on its knowledge and every one of them will give you 10 questions. And I'll give you an outcome. So I figure, why don't we do this and create and craft better jobs? The AI is still going to need people to do things. It's just a matter of what it is that they need to do. And we have this transgression between, there's horses everywhere. Now we drive cars. There was some jobs lost in the transition from horses to jobs. Where's the role that I haven't seen yet that is the AI conduit individual in an organization? There is IT. IT is a whole department. AI is, and I think it'd be my guess that organizations are trying to integrate and weave technology, information technology, into one. Artificial technology. But I think we might be realizing pretty quickly that artificial technology is too big to capture. There should be a person at a company that is like they're the AI guy or the AI gal, and it's their job to be the in-between. I know computer systems, information managers aim to be that, but again, there's the segmentation as the data accumulation accelerates. Even still, we collected so much information that there's a job that does data engineering is let's go get the data and put it in a infrastructure. There's data analysis, there's data science. There's 3 jobs right there that are data specifically, and that's not software engineering. So there's the person. You gotta put the person in the place to be the conduit or the communication factor. But where is that? Where's that optimization? AI optimizes all of the things. And here we are. Studies have been done on job design. And this comes back to one of my research projects that I did maybe a couple months ago now, but it was buy-in from stakeholders, and the assignment was to put myself in a position where I'm going to take over an organization that was on the Forbes, I think it was Forbes top places to work 2025. Pick an organization, identify its current positioning, identify a growth goal. Then there's a lot of, this was an assignment thing, is really look into your values as a person. How do you integrate that into the organization's values, like your personal values, organization's values? It needs to be a value-driven organization. Value-driven organizations have the capacity to be consistent on what they're delivering because it's based on values. It's not on like random initiatives. It's here's the values, here's our mission. Let's connect them, right? Here's a vision. This is where we're going. The mission is how we're gonna do it. And the values are the parameters and what we believe in. So you stay within this scope. As the leader of an organization, it tends to be ideal that the values are aligned there. Now, you take the values and translate it into adapting to what the market needs are. And so the integration is the stakeholder buy-in, where people need to buy into change, and there's the whole transgression of change management. That's going to be the consulting role of the 2020s, for sure. And we'll reflect back on this. This is what this is. It's going to change. People are going to adapt, or they're not, which It's one or the other. It really is. I don't know how you sit on no side of that fence when it comes. There's a way to implement change, and that is through strong practices of transparent communication, authentic leadership, stakeholder buy-in. How do you do that? That the whole assignment was on stakeholder buy-in. I identify these things, and then change management becomes stakeholder buy-in. Stakeholders are the company, the management who's going to have to execute. It is the employees that work at the organization that have to buy into the values. It is investors. It is lenders. It's the customers. Everybody around an organization are stakeholders in the organization. So job design becomes a factor of considerable buy-in. When you know that jobs are going to be displaced or changed, it's a matter of communicating in town halls. It's going to happen. There's going to be resistance. That's how change works. And leading people through a significant disruption in the way that they've previously done things is uncomfortable. But there's good ways to do it, and there's not good ways to do it. The good ways to do it include this reward behavior, where you reward the new behavior in the change for a long enough period of time, put into position champions of the change, and it becomes. But it's easier to put people to be champions of the change when we can recognize and we hear you in town halls. Then what are we doing to acknowledge and take action? We hear you. Human is still the most important element out of all of the factors, because even though AI is at the top of the funnel, feeding CEOs and board members information through AI analytics, then it's at the bottom of the whole funnel after it transgresses through CEO, C-suite, middle management, distributed to frontline associates. Then data is collected by another form of artificial intelligence and sent right back to the top. So where's the human is everywhere in between, also spaced by AI in every layer, an efficient way to distribute tasking becomes artificial intelligence. And so the job design can be improved and optimized through these factors of designing it for the people. Okay, this job's gone. Like, we don't need someone to do that anymore in an optimized business. Can't hold payroll for a job that isn't, we don't need it. We reduce the cost. That's good. And that stirs up, there's a whole web of ethics that stand behind that. And so I was curious to see how that happened, because it's happened. It happened with the railroad. We don't have as many railroad workers as we once had. We fly airplanes. We go to space. We communicate across the planet in real time. Those all used to be jobs. So transgression needs to occur. It needs to happen in a good way. I just thought it was strange how it wanted to go. I don't know why this is in all caps. Because it kept going on about something else. I wanted to talk about this Amy Ski, Wiz Ski, and Jane Dutton, top business schools, did this job design. So how do we apply the information to the job design? I use it on myself. I craft my own job and say, this is the task that I need to accomplish. These are the skills, because there's a template answer to everything. These are the skills required. These are the skills that I'm good at. I have strengths. Let's lean into those. Let's figure out how to get from one side to the other side using my strengths, as opposed to just not. I can. What it is? It would be quit it cold turkey. It'd be the equivalent of cold turkey. It's like, okay, this is how it's done, and you got to do it, and it just makes it harder, and it's not good. But there's another way to do it, and that way is, let's find that way. And AI has been able to do that, and found good ways for me to do that. So, and the purpose of this podcast, I'm gonna go look up this Jane Dutton. I'm gonna go to the library. We're gonna look up some academic resources, and I want to know about Amy and Jane and job design. Design. I feel like I'm not spelling it right. Design. There's things you don't need to know how to spell anymore either. Look at that. See? Doesn't like me. And job design. Because this is just based on the source. Let's see if I can expand it. No, that's not that one either. Let's try a little ProQuest and an expanded EBSCO if we could, please. Amy and Jane Dutton. Why not on the Dutton farm? Here, I wonder if I'll be able to get the original. Let's see if I can dig in and find it. Job crafting and meaningful work. 2000. Justin. They skipped Justin. Poor Justin. 2013. Maybe it was their earlier work. Here it is. Revisioning employees as active crafters of their work. And this is what the Googles gave me, or the Gemini. Not even synonymous anymore. Separate entities. Envisioning, it didn't like that. I copied and pasted that envisioning. That wasn't even my spelling. Journals, AOM.org. I mean, maybe this is the original. Academy of Management, I think, is actually. Let's see if it gives me. Oh, are you gonna hook it up or are you not gonna hook it up? Permissions. I bet that's pretty good. Learn more. I want to learn more. I'd like to read the. Oh, here it is. Do I get it? Am I allowed to have it? Read and download. Let us see if Purdue. That's not. Purdue Global is my name. Purdue Global. No. Neither of them like that. National Gallery of Art. Let's see if GPT, how you're feeling. University of Michigan. There it is. Okay, nice. Motivations, job crafting practices, special effects, general effects. Okay, I take it. Let's take it. Thank you, Michigan. So let's dig into it. GPT. I'll take a bob and a weave, and Gemini didn't really want to do what I wanted it to do. Identify research lane about management and change. So this was a conversation, so I don't know if I picked up all the words as I so intended them. I don't like the premise of that. That's not what I want. What I want is, so here, I'll show you how to, this is how I construct what you want to talk about, and it'll be and this way it'll stay within the bounds of, I mean, at least I'll have set the bounds and we can monitor it. Digital transformation. So I wanted it to be in line with digital. And I want to address and I just posed the question. No. It's a big deal. Most site, and I just have garnered this from a lot of reading. This most situation, if it can cite it, great. If it cannot cite it, then I will omit it. I'm not about to claim something that doesn't exist. Don't know how. It will change business. What areas have business? The most. Existing jobs in these areas. What will guide you to deviate, demise, or otherwise prove that an untimely, I'll just call it that seems to give a sentiment. I'm trying to be a little more pragmatic. What would be prove what would otherwise be displacement of jobs. Displacement of jobs. Consider, we're gonna just straight up cite it here. Crafting job plays. Didn't know, but I can't copy. And what I didn't put in here that I do want to touch on. What areas would be impacted the most? Actually, that's here. Will be simply translated into less tedious, more critical thinking and creative goals. However, not all person or personality types are that will be the parameters set. Now, how did I start this here? Let's are an expert in team management and and we'll see what the output is. On the next episode, I will drum through the output of what GPT thinks about the digital transformation. See you next time. That's it for this episode of The Human Element in AI. We appreciate you joining us as we navigate the complexities and opportunities presented by AI in the workplace. Our goal is to provide you with insights and perspectives on adapting to change, optimizing your role, and embracing the future of work with confidence. Remember, the human element remains crucial in this evolving landscape. If you found this conversation valuable, you can also visit our website, lifehaslevels.com. We're in this together, building the future of work. My name is Bo, and this is The Human Element of AI. See you next time.